And we're back.
Yeah, we're back once again, man. Yeah, I am Giraffe, man.
I'm Sean-Luc Picard. Washed, never washed up.
Yeah, we are the Wash guys. We are washed, never washed up.
Shout out Taji, no limit exposure.
Yeah. So, you see us, you see him. I guess we kind of been off task as far as pod's been concerning, but so we back once again, man. Back on track, man.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Back on road. Yeah. This is episode 56. Yeah, shout out to Lawrence Taylor.
Shout out Lawrence Taylor, man. One of the realest.
Yeah, one of the best cokeheads I've ever seen on the football field. So
definitely use it to the fullest potential.
Yeah. That is exactly what cocaine is used for.
Yeah, that's how you get the job done.
Yeah, it's like what are the good uses for cocaine? I mean,
you just got to be a maniac.
Yeah, football, man. That's definitely one.
And then, Michael Irvin.
Yeah, that's another one. The second greatest cocaine I've seen on the football field. Yeah. So shout out to them, man.
That nigga snorted his way into greatness.
Yeah. Snowman. Can't ban the snowman, boy.
Yeah, can't ban him, boy. He stayed in the game years, boy.
Yeah, now he on Fox. Nigga still getting money.
You know it.
After another coke charge after he quit playing football. I remember he's
like still getting tailored. Them lineups is still getting lined.
Him and Steve Harvey still shopping at the same places.
Getting shoes together.
Yeah. Copping Afro wigs.
Buying cufflinks for collars that are too big on their shirt.
Oh shit.
That type of shit, man.
Mustache shit. Whatever. You know what I'm saying?
Mustache wax. Yeah. Buying cigars. You know they buy cigars together.
Oh yeah. Them niggas smoke cigars together. But yeah. This is episode 56, man. Shout out Lawrence Taylor once again. How was your week? Oh yeah, my bad. Yeah, before we get into that, I'm sorry. I'm a little rusty, as y'all can see.
You saw me hesitate.
Yeah. He didn't even know where to go.
Yeah, I was stuck.
Yeah, we get into the countries, man. Should give y'all a refresher course. Shout out to these United States, the United Kingdom, Australia, Canada,
you already know.
Iceland.
Shout out Cardinal Official.
Yeah. Drizzy Drake. Ireland.
Black podcast in Iceland.
Germany.
Shout out Conor McGregor.
Yeah. Russia. India, France, Brazil, Norway, Finland, Costa Rica, Puerto Rico. Romania, Spain, Ecuador, New Zealand, Denmark,
Shout out New Zealand,
the Netherlands, Sweden, Singapore, Slovakia, Belgium, Italy, Qatar, Turkey, Hong Kong, and Japan. Is Japan? Japan is new?
No.
Yeah. Oh shit. Oh yeah. Shout out to Japan. Shout out to Dave from Japan, man. He just he reposted the pod the other day.
Oh, shout out Dave.
He's a babe reseller, man. I think he reposted it because I had a Human Made jacket on. But nonetheless, whatever the term is.
Nonetheless.
That one. Yeah, shout out to you, man. Maybe he's a Japan listener. So yeah.
That's fine. Whatever Taji said.
Yeah. Domo arigato, Mr. Roboto, to you too, man. We just lost our listener.
It just disappeared. That's just crazy. I didn't know they did it in real time. Shout out Anchor. That's wild.
Oh shit.
Last episode we got the fastest intro. This one we got the fastest lost country. Or the fastest title for the last pod.
Yeah. So how was your week?
It was good until now.
Shout out Dave.
Man, I real shit had a great week. I think I talked about it on a previous pod, like trying to getting back into a mind frame where I appreciate our shit. And of course, we dropped the album.
Shout out to us. Stream Legends of the Fall on every streaming service.
Legends of the Fall.
Yeah, Legends of the Fall is out everywhere. Civil rights, search civil rights. It's rights with a W. That's 2 words. Search that.
CIVILWRITES.
Yeah. So we dropped the album. So yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
It's all right, man. You were being productive. I appreciate it. We dropped the album this week and got a lot of positive feedback. It fell kind of right in line with the resurgence of me listening to our shit. And I think one of the moments we had when we were recording the last pod that probably will never make the light of day, is he was like, all right, man, I usually do this by myself, but since you're here, we just gonna go ahead and go through it together. And you started from the first project. Like, shit, bro, I did this like before the album and after the album. Oh, yeah. So it's like realizing that people are really, really kind of the same even at the times when they're like contemplating their art form, like in their own perspective, spaces and places. Like even working with Ricky over this past weekend, I realized, oh, we do a lot of the same shit. We just end up like we get there, we end up in the same place. We just get there on different routes, and it's interesting seeing how people process their creative process.
Yeah.
But outside of that, the work week was pretty standard. I didn't really do shit. I did a lot of traveling, man. I went from the north side back to the south side.
Traveling, man.
Back up here now. You already know. Road running. I was talking about Taji being a journeyman. I got to look at myself. I'm talking to the man. You change his ways. Yeah.
Ain't no lesson. But anyway, yeah. That's it.
Yep. How was your week?
My week was treacherous. I'd say I don't know what the fuck I ate. My stomach's been fucked up all week, so that's been a thing.
Washed.
Yeah. I fucking hurled at work. Made someone else clean it up. Like, hey man, I just threw up, bro. Go clean that shit up.
Bullshit.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Popped my collar, took my hat, turned my back on the ones that faded me. You know what I'm saying?
Did you say it over the intercom?
No, we ain't got intercoms.
Oh fuck.
They're doing this whole respect thing at my job. I don't know. I'm just fucking around. Nah.
Damn, bro. Respect is a new policy?
Yeah. They've been trying it out. Yeah, man. So, but it was definitely cool. We got some recording done this week. Started on the next. Well, we already, we always have 1,000 projects we working on simultaneously.
Yeah, I blame myself, man. I realize I work through projects like that, even personal shit. Like I always start a bunch at once and then like start fine tuning what I'm attacking based on progress. If shit get difficult, I don't be looking for it no more.
Yeah, true. I really like to always go with what's moving at the time. Like so, that's usually what we end up doing, whatever's flowing at the time. So it was good to stay in flow. As you said, since we dropped the album, got a lot of good feedback. But yeah, other than that, I didn't really do much. Yeah, just a lot of wash shit, man. It's like I'm realizing I don't really know what I enjoy, man. I do envy that out of people, like other than creative things. Like I don't really enjoy letting my hair down as much as I used to when I was younger. I used to fiend for that type of interaction, but now letting my hair down really is studio time or doing the podcast. More so than just actual like debauchery that I used to get into. So being boring all week, it's been my thing. We can get into watch moments. Shit.
I can go into mine.
Oh, my shit isn't really long. I just was watching the Lennox Lewis documentary. Shout out to Lennox Lewis, and it's narrated by Dr. Dre. It's fine. It's not great, but it's fine. But I just thought it was crazy that he had home videos. I'm like, this nigga's older than me, man. How the fuck y'all have home videos? What type of life did I live? Yeah. I don't even know if that's washed, man, but I just thought it was impressive that there was home videos of this nigga like in the 80s, like with tracksuits on and shit. I'm like, damn, nigga. They say you was growing up like a fucking homeless kid and shit. How the fuck did y'all be having like, every time somebody shows me a home video of them, I'm like, y'all, I didn't know that was like a real thing. Like y'all got home videos of y'all when y'all were kids?
I thought it was just a show.
Yeah.
I had home videos. My dad worked at an electronics store, so he was just like he would buy a lot of that shit just because he was interested into it. And I think he was into photography in college, so cameras, videos, it being the newest technology at the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So we had like 8mm tapes that he would record on the camcorder. It's a video of my mom getting attacked by deer at the now closed Marine Land in Canada. So like it's funny because when they did that whole it's a big documentary, not Blackfish, but some other one about the marine animals and the way they're treated in these types of facilities like SeaWorld and Marineland. And one of the guys that like broke the story about the treatment was from Marineland. I was like, oh shit, I've been there, bro. That's probably the same whale.
That's crazy.
I don't know how long they live, bro. It's
they
gotta
live
be
like 40 years or some shit like that.
Yeah, that whale, it was the same whale, bro. It was like, yeah, the whale keep getting sick, man. He be throwing up in the water and they don't clean it up.
That's crazy. But yeah.
I don't know if any of that's true, but that's why I assumed they were saying they beat him.
Oh, you beat a whale.
They whipped that nigga. Yeah.
That lashes like a slave.
Yeah.
I mean, they're essentially slaves.
It ain't no coincidence. Orca's mostly black. See
Third
that?
eye shit.
Free Willy. Willie sound like a slave name.
Yeah, Willie definitely is a black name.
Come
Why
on,
did it be
man.
Free Willie? Why couldn't it be Free Dave or some shit?
Yeah, come on, man.
Dave?
Dave.
Yeah.
Free Cedric. Nah, it's black too. Cedric, black.
Yeah.
I don't know white Cedrics.
Yeah,
Free
hell no.
Stanley.
Yeah. Stanley's even sort of, it's quasi
You know
black.
Black Stanley?
I mean, The Office, yeah.
Touche.
Yeah. Black Stanley, stand up. Where y'all at?
Shout out to the Black Stanley.
Call into the pod, 1-800-WASH guys.
The first Black Stanley's gonna get yet to be
Get a
produced
gift
Wash
bag,
Guard merch. You get the new album early, man. First Black Stanley to call in. 1-800-WASH Guards, man.
You get the
Good
Legends
luck.
of the Fall vinyl. Yeah, but yeah, I thought it was impressive that he had home videos. Is there really much to that? I'm sorry, is there much to that story?
Oh shit. That shit was a goddamn centrifuge.
Yeah, but yeah, that.
I guess my wash moment was I thought about it a lot because I wanted to make it because I feel like eventually other people will see this pod and I don't want people to feel like singled out. But fuck it. I find myself having a lot of interesting conversations with people younger than me, and that oh shit I'm old feeling came thrice over, and
That's me every day at work.
yeah,
Fuck, I'm old.
I ignore a lot of it because I usually have somebody around my age to bounce ideas off of, but and it's not a whole lot of us, so it's like either really really young or like right where I'm at, but. In this instance, like I took it upon myself, just talking to coworkers or friends and talking to younger people, and I realized I'm out of touch. I'm so out of touch. Like
As far as what though?
Like just social interactions. I went to, you know what I'm saying, a place that will not be named, in order to enjoy after work libations with a coworker, and like had that same feeling that I talked about like when me and Ricky were out, where it's like, man, I shouldn't be here. It was funny as it was all love. It was just like, man, I shouldn't. This ain't it. Not because anything necessarily negative happened. Just I be feeling like I could be doing something else.
See, that's back to some shit I was saying.
Like and it was funny because I took him there and not knowing that he don't drink like that, and I'm talking to him. I'm like, yeah, I don't really want anything to drink. I'm like, what the fuck are we doing here, bro? I wish we
Just did some normal shit.
Yeah, we had this conversation outside by our car, nigga. Now I'm in here interacting with motherfuckers.
Just needlessly doing it.
Yeah, I saw my nigga Booby though, man. Booby's birthday passed this week, so happy
shit,
birthday, Booby. I mean, but
shout out Booby.
Another incident that happened. This happened like back to back.
Accountability podcast.
Not that Booby.
Oh shit. Well,
Yeah, Eastside Booby.
take my shout out back. All right, shout out to that Booby though.
You know Booby.
Yeah.
But I went to go. Fuck, gotta fight me, man. You had to see me in these streets. But no, I went to my homeboy's crib, and his son came to the door as I was walking up, and I dap him up, and I see his nails are painted black, and I was like, "Yo, you You know, back in I didn't say anything. I was like, you know, like if you was growing up like in the '90s, like you just would have had to fight. It'd have been inexplicable. Nobody would have said anything to you.
But to shoot him some bail.
No, wait. Let me finish before you start shooting bail. I think that it was interesting because does a lot of cultural things like podcasting, producing. Not necessarily podcasting. My bad. He's in a band. He produces music. He does martial arts. You know what I mean? He's a fairly eclectic 13-ish-year-old. And I realized that the trend now, even the people I listen to, like the popular artists of this generation, all do the same shit. They're following in the footsteps of what they see. Like I can talk about Playboy Cardi and see him do all this shit and not assume that he's not going to be influenced by somebody who's the star of their time, like the same way we were. Yeah. So it's just like I know Logan personally. I'm not throwing no shade. Like I fuck with the fact that he's independent enough to come up with his own ideas and express himself, even though all his friends convinced him to do it. You might need to get a better peer group because I don't know them. But that being said, it was just funny because I was looking around and saying like, "Yep, I'm out of touch. Don't get it." And it's fine. Like, I'm fine with it. What I was
going to say, though, is, like, we had people at my school that had, like, the black painted fingernails. It wasn't a hip-hop thing quite yet. Like, those dudes, they was, like, we had golf people. Like, I remember it was, like, a few golf
My
niggas.
coworkers said the same thing. It was like, that's a golf phase. I was like, yeah.
But I just think culture's more blended nowadays. So,
yeah, definitely.
So it's just, like... And also, I'd say, like, in the area he's in, I'm sure there's a lot more of those type of blacks around.
That too, and that's part of the Gwinnettrification of the younger generation.
Yeah. Instead, no salt to my nephew. Like when I talked to him, I just can tell. Like, I never really looked at myself as, even when we grew up in whatever type of situation, poverty, quote unquote. You know what I'm saying? Our toe dipped in that motherfucker. I never really viewed it as that because I knew people that I felt like were way more like hood or whatever than me. But then when I look at him, I'm like, oh shit, man, maybe I was from the hood because I see what unhood is. Like it's so far from what.
And that's really what I felt like because I was like, yo, we talk about it growing up. You know what I mean? In a Christian cult, like there were certain things that you were singled out for not doing.
Yeah.
And because you stood out, you knew you was gonna have conflict. Yeah. And I think that like just growing up that way, doing regular shit, the idea of coming out and being like, I'm gonna paint my nails today and go to school. That shit would be so foreign. And the people who did do it, like you said, the goth kids had to do some irregular shit in order to be left alone in most situations.
Yeah, because I remember like even wearing like, it wasn't even skinnies at that point. It was just jeans that fit. Just because like it was like the Kanye phase where we were trying to clean it up. You know what I'm saying? I remember
button-ups
destroyed for wearing like them tight ass pants. Like what the fuck you got on? Like, you know what I'm saying? Trying to be an individualist.
Fucking around. I remember being in school and I had some, you know how you cut the bottom of your denim? Like, so you turn it into boot cut. So you get Timbs, it'll fit over it. Yeah. Eventually that shit starts to fray unless you break the seams. Yeah. So it started to fray and I put safety pins. I just got a whole pack of safety pins and safety pin aside. So it gave it more room. And it's just it's a string of safety pins. Flame the shit out of me for that. Yeah. Now you look at distressed denim in the way
looks just like that. Yeah.
It was like 90.
They buying shit with safety pins.
This is 99, bro. Yeah. This is like my year in high school. So I don't think that there's anything wrong with it. I understand it's a sign of the times, but it's just funny because I'm like, man, they would have ran. You had to be somebody. It's like I remember public school being like jail. Like, but you can do whatever you want. You just you kind of had to have some rep.
Yeah, I mean the golf nigga I remember, he was low key like on the, well at least he played it up like he was on like some other shit. You know what I'm saying? People was I felt like they was kind of scared of him because he was, I remember him rocking the, before Dipset and all that shit, rocking the chains on his belt, the super wide leg jeans and the fucking like Jinko jeans and shit, and like the skull shirts before Dipset again. Man, they really big golf shit. But
Rockstar.
Yeah. But he was doing them big ass pants and shit. But I just remember looking at him like, what the fuck is this nigga doing? And he had black painted fingernails. But like no one would. He would just be an outcast.
Perfect example. My tattoo artist James. He got black painted fingernails, but James ain't. Number one, it's one of those things where like you already know what type of time he's on because we've grown up with the goth aesthetic, and James ain't to be played with. You know what I'm saying? Like,
and also I can say to his defense, I remember I used to fucking paint my shits with the like just the nail hardener, just the clear shit, and like I remember like my parents or maybe my parents, like my dad or some shit, saying that shit like, "What the fuck are you doing?" It's like, it's like my shit. You know what I'm saying?
All right.
So I was on my shit, man.
I think clear coat's different. Like
maybe.
Yeah. All right.
Cause now I don't get my nails done now, and when niggas talk about it a little bit too openly, I always be looking at them like, all right, nigga, relax. Yeah. Yeah. I ain't saying nothing, but just, we ain't, you know what I'm saying? Yeah, just keep that over there, B. Like, do what you do, man.
I think as a joke now, I just walk around and tell people like, man, I need to go get my feet done this week.
Yeah,
Just see how people react.
Yeah, I mean that's whatever, but you know, I didn't have dudes like, but you know, talk to me like that's.
You don't get your you gotta
like that's getting their haircut and shit, like and getting their nails done. I'm like, all right, man,
you don't get waxed.
Ass niggas, shout out. Yeah.
Look that. He's gonna ask you where your dad at.
Yeah.
Where's your dad?
Yeah. Shit. I guess we talk about this. Shit, man. Prayers up to DMX.
Yeah, man. Our thoughts and prayers.
Apparently, he suffered from a heart attack. You know. Well, they're saying overdose, man. I always hate seeing those type of headlines because I'm always thinking like, I don't know. I mean, we know he's alone. So I don't know, man. There's a lot of people that probably benefit from this motherfucker being dead, man. And when you're a drug addict and once you get to a certain age, where you're probably more viable dead than you are alive,
dead rappers get better promotion.
I don't know, man. His lawyer, I think the quote that I read was supposed to be from his lawyer or some shit. I'm like, man, man, there's not no family member that could have like gave this story out or some shit. His lawyer, man.
Dirty game.
I feel like his lawyer would be by the bedside trying to pull that fucking plug. Mm-hmm. Like, he's the motherfucker that probably got control of everything. That's the case. If he's already given statements for him, but that's just, you know, conspiracy brother talking. Yeah. Oh shit.
Straight.
Yeah, you good. I guess so.
Yeah.
Yeah, there we go.
Yep. All right, but yeah, I think a part of me was really, really upset that DMX is the person that we keep having to talk about, because I feel like, at least in this light, because I feel like DMX is kind of like Mike Tyson in rap. Like he been through enough. Life was hard from jump. Made it out, made some bad decisions. Everybody makes mistakes. Like I want him to have peace, because I saw like a glimpse of him kind of being like back to, at least I won't say back to his old self, because, you know, age and cocaine, but at least back to being seen as a human being on that Drink Champs episode. Like he doing Ayala Fix My Life. They got him looking like a piece of shit and all that. And I'm just thinking to myself like, yo, being a celebrity is such a burden. Like the Dave Chappelle in the Actors Studio interview where they cut that segment where he's talking about how Martin Lawrence like didn't have a nervous breakdown. Like this is just a sick environment. Like it drains you. You know what I mean? It changes you. And I see that like being one of the bigger examples with DMX. So yeah, shout out to DMX, man. Definitely a legend in the game, to say the least.
Yeah, man. Hopefully, man, they're saying not good things about his situation, talking about he's in a, you know, vegetative state or whatever the fucking term is.
I think they said he's back conscious now.
Okay, so yeah. I mean that was the first report I read.
He was in a heart, and that shit happens, man. Like I know, especially when you OD, like your body starts to do weird shit. You're susceptible to heart attacks, strokes, random infections and shit. Yeah, seizure.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's again a dirty game.
Yeah. There's a lot of jokes to be made, but I'll wait to see if he's recovered first before I crack him. So,
at this point, the only joke I kind of had, man. Never mind.
I'm not even gonna do it, man. As much as I want to, man. But
let's just say it's been a rough ride.
All right, that's fine. Not mad at that.
It's the safest one I got.
On that note, man, we'll be right back. Yeah, we're back once again, man. Wash gods, wash never washed up. So Georgia's been on one, man. I was just saying that before we started recording. I'm like, didn't this shit have happened already? But it was based on another bill. But apparently the All-Star game was set to be in Atlanta. Was that next year? It was next season, correct? 13th. Oh, it was for this season. All right. So the All-Star game was set to be in Atlanta. I'm definitely thinking they aim for a city like Atlanta because we are so open in these COVID times. But so yeah, it was set to be in Atlanta, and during this whole period, I guess we've been going through, a law was passed, a Voting Rights Act or whatever was instituted, and which added a few more measures on like voting, absentee voting, all aspects of voting. Apparently, like you can't offer water, or people can't leave for food breaks, or all these like extra stipulations on voting. Which a lot of them I actually thought already existed, to be completely honest. I'm not a voter, so I don't really know the aspects of voting, but I just assume like you had to have an ID to vote through the mail and shit like that. I feel like that's kind of like a sensible correction, but hey man, maybe I'm not liberal enough.
That's a good chance.
I don't have much confidence in the system to begin with, so I don't know if I have the best opinion on it.
It's weird talking about voting rights, knowing that I don't vote.
Give a fuck, yeah.
I'm not gonna have a say for real. I do think it is sketchy that there was a representative that was arrested during the time period he was signing the bill and dragged out. I'm sure it was convenient that she was dragged out and cameras were rolling, and she happened to be African American. But at the same time, like you said, I don't necessarily trust the government enough to know that they're gonna do right by me anyway.
Yeah, and with that, I remember seeing that on the news, and like a lot of times when I watch the news, it's like extremely early, so it's probably like 5 a.m. I usually catch like one of the first news joints, like local news joints that comes on, but whatever. And I remember thinking that, and this kind of relates to a documentary I watched today. It's called Coded Bias. But a part of it, it's about a lot of things, but a part of it made me think about how we live in such a monitored society, and it actually does change the way people just their whole mentality and the way they do things. Like, one thing I always say to people is like, I hate that a lot of people just feel like they're performing when I talk to them, like more than just being a person.
And I do think when you feel like you're being observed.
Yeah, so like seeing her on, doing that shit in Congress or whatever the fuck she was doing it at, like she knows what the fuck was going on. She knows it's gonna be a camera crew. She knows it's gonna be on the news the next day. Like sometimes it feels like it's a over dramatization of what's happening. Like it's like I get the point you're trying to make. And wrong could be done. And sometimes, for me, you water down the point by doing all this extra shit. Sometimes you can just state the facts. And like if they're solid, like you really have a real solid reason to be angry. For me, you don't have to over dramatize. Like you don't have to do all that.
Spend that energy building your case if that's the situation. But who am I to say? Because I don't know what the fuck was going on.
And I get the other side of it. The other argument could be said that people don't give a fuck unless you do that, unless you perform for them. Sometimes people need to see that to really understand. Me personally, I feel like if you really care about politics, you wouldn't have to make it a performance act. But that is what politics has become as a whole.
There's another aspect of being washed. You kind of just don't. And when you have the choice to either care a lot or not care at all, Depending on how close it is to you. Like, and how
It's
much,
not even that I
how much
don't
influence
care a
you
lot.
have.
Like, for instance, like, this isn't a law thing, but when we seen the George Floyd incident, a nigga didn't have to play that up. It was just fucked up. Like, you don't have to really throw a lot of angles in that. It's fucked up. Like, well, I get it. I didn't need to see no speeches to know it was fucked up. I didn't hear to need no side of it. No, it was fucked up. It was just fucked up. So, I mean, this is a false equivalency, but I just do think, like, this right and wrong. I think we all kind of know it. You don't really have to fucking fall out and faint every fucking time, or do the whole screaming matches and call people these inflammatory names. Sometimes I think that just adds to the divide of everything anyway. Like now nothing's gonna happen. Now motherfuckers gonna be more vindictive about the laws that they make. Now they're gonna do shit just to, that's why I think politics has become like everybody's just trying to like tear down the other side rather than
Survivor.
Yeah, it's not even about.
It's a series of games that they play, and then they try to single somebody out, make them look like the villain.
Yeah.
And everybody does their dirt in the meantime, or tries to clean it up.
And the media has the ultimate control of it because they can choose whether to make you the villain or the hero with like a click of a button, depending on how they edit some shit.
Which is why political pundits have political ties.
Yeah. But that was a long random tangent. Yeah, man, Atlanta, we're still in a very, very red state, even though we went blue this last election, this last major election. We still got red values. So, I mean, that's never really surprising to me when I see laws like this pass. And I'm not really taken aback. I mean, maybe I should be. Maybe that's like, I'm sterile in that sense.
Good take. Yeah, I don't have anything else to say. Shout out to MLB, I guess, for taking a stand.
We can. I respect the MLB for like as he said, like hitting them in the pockets. I do think that's the only thing that's going to be effective in this day and age, or in every day and age.
And even though we may not necessarily know the particulars of the law or the bill that was passed, and it is something to be said about the effect of somebody, a corporation or a business entity like the MLB saying, y'all got to change this or we're not fucking with you. Because that is a very direct message to people who are making decisions for people in their city, district, under their local government. And if the city's going to benefit from the money, like the government itself is going to benefit from the money, y'all got to treat the people who are going to attend these events well. And, you know what I mean? That's how it should be. It's surprising that this is one of the few times it's surprising that it doesn't happen more often in these type of scenarios.
Yeah, and one thing I can say, I guess the positive thing about all this front-facing shit that companies are doing is shit like this, where I don't know if the MLB is, race. I mean, if I was a betting man, I'd say yes. But what I will say is they know how the media could play this. So they have to move strategically with that. So I think that's what it really is about. When you see any company or movie studios and shit like do that, it's important for them to have a good image for the company. So these moves are gonna happen because they know that shit hurts their pockets too. Like that hurts the MLB pockets. So in turn, they got to make decisions that hurt other. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep our face clean, nigga. We can't be fucking around with you race ass motherfuckers, nigga. Not publicly, nigga.
No.
We gotta do this shit behind closed doors, nigga. Y'all going too far down there in Atlanta, nigga. Y'all
out there fucking drawing attention and shit.
It's like that bad friend. It's like I can't fuck with this nigga no more, man. This nigga doing meth now. It's like
racism is meth.
Yeah. I mean, the same people do it, so that's something. Yeah. All right, man. I bumped into this story, man. Like, I don't know how many people know about this because I don't really talk about a lot of podcasts with too many people other than y'all. But we ain't really been able to sit down as much. So, but I bumped into this story on accident. I was just on Twitter in the middle of the night, and they were like talking about how DJ Academics like flamed the whole podcast. I'm like, what? Like, cause I don't pay attention to anything DJ Academics does. Like, teach his own. If you enjoy his entertainment, right on. But it's not my cup of black. Yeah. Anyway, So apparently, this is all Twitter rumors, and I just got into this big fucking rabbit hole of shit. But apparently, him and Rory been going back and forth from the Joe Budden podcast, and this nigga like left a note in this nigga's mailbox and shit. But apparently, that's the whole reason why they ended up bouncing from the podcast, because they know Joe Budden still fuck with the nigga, so it's kind of like bad business. And I get that, and it's kind of unfortunate, man. I can definitely say I enjoyed their dynamic a little bit more. I think they got other people on there now, but I enjoyed the whole Joe Budden dynamic with Rory and Maul. So hopefully y'all mend that shit. I don't feel like I'm airing dirty laundry, because it's all over.
Yeah, they talk about it freely.
Yeah.
I think it's all corny. I hate the fact that the type of hip hop aesthetic or like beef aesthetic is transitioned.
Apparently, this nigga leaked all this nigga side bitches and ruined this nigga relationship. It's just all dirty shit. But as you said, I'm sorry. You can continue.
Yeah, but it's just, shout out to Rory Maul and Joe Budden, man. I hope y'all work that shit out. Y'all had something going, especially independently.
Yeah, and it was dope to see. The way he was trying to push the envelope as far as ownership and shit like that. So, nobody likes to see the Beatles break up, or the Fat Boys or whatever, reference you need. But that's what it kind of felt like, we kind of, even though Rory's white, and I guess Parks is white too, but it was good to see, like, sometimes when a dynamic, it felt very natural. You can tell people probably known each other for 10 years plus. Like, those type of podcasts I enjoy, because they feel more natural than a lot of the more commercial ones where it's just two fucking pundits, like, trying to go back and forth and be the most entertaining. Because, real friends have a natural dynamic rather than
like
just
camaraderie.
Yeah.
You can kind of shoot the shit and then get to the point when you want.
And then, people aren't going to usually talk over each other and shit like that, because y'all speak already. Y'all have a certain frequency how y'all move. But anyway, yeah, that story is that story, man. I ain't have much to say about that. I just thought it was, we had to talk about it because it's happening. Shout out to Chinatown Market. I guess formerly Chinatown Market.
Yeah. Chinatown Market put out a statement via their Instagram talking about the dynamic in which we all are in this social climate, and how they felt obligated to change their name, which was kind of already hot to begin with, but I guess niggas was letting it slide based on aesthetic. Like, for anybody who knows what Chinatown is in New York, it's kind of like where you go to get the bootleg shit. And their aesthetic was a take on streetwear, current streetwear at the time, with the branding Chinatown Market. One thing I thought about was the fact that all the Chinatown Market shit that's out there floating around, cha-ching. Like,
Yep.
because all that shit is, if you think about Jordans, the Rising Sun Jordans that came out, they recalled all of those Jordans because of the insole.
Them motherfuckers was done. Them
all white
motherfuckers
joints?
Yeah, they sat, bro.
And
I remember the place I was working at, they got down to $79, bro. I remember this clearly, and that's when I was about to buy them, and then somebody took the last.
We went. They had taken them all out of stores in Atlanta, and we went to Tennessee for some release. I want to say it might have been Skunks. And I went up there and I looked in one of their finish lines. No, it wasn't even Tennessee. It was in Macon. And they had the same insoles, and I was like, yo, I could get these or Freshwater Griffies. And not thinking, like, what the fuck I'm gonna do with an all white shoe? Freshwater Griffies.
That's why I never caught them.
Yeah. And I was like, yo, I'm gonna get these all white. I'm gonna get these Freshwaters and call it a day.
Even when they was on sale, I was like, that's just what I'm gonna do with an all white Jordan, dog. I don't want no fucking all white Jordan.
Yeah, they're actually a good shoe now.
Yeah.
Like, looking back.
Yeah,
hindsight being 2020. Yeah. Patent leather along the side. But that being said, that tangent was based off the reference that, yeah, man, you can't really just touch a whole lot of Asian iconography. You shouldn't be touching.
And we kind of missed that whole, I mean, I guess it's still like a conversation that's going on now, like something we could probably touch on, like the whole Stop Asian Hate movement. Shout out to Japan. Apparently I just touched the podcast, Hong Kong too.
Shout out y'all. We stand with you in solidarity.
I got two takes about the Asian hate shit. My one take is, y'all kind of gotta chill, man. Like, I mean, I'm not saying it don't exist, because it definitely does, and I'm not even saying it's not a real problem.
Because it definitely is.
It's because it definitely is. But just relax, man. Just don't talk about that shit around me.
There's a certain
Just you know what I'm saying. As a black man, it's offensive.
I'm trying to think about what I call it.
That's all I'm gonna say.
The sympathy Olympics. Like I think there's a certain competition with people to be the most disadvantaged.
Yeah.
And now you start to weaponize your plight. Like, oh, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? Like, I work in an establishment where everybody but me is Asian. I had this conversation with my coworkers. I think we talked about it on one of the last
Asian
pods.
community isn't decimated like it is. Like the black community is still fucked up right now. What the fuck are we talking about? Like
I was like, yo, do y'all feel like y'all have these types of interactions with black people, especially racist interactions? And they're like, no, but you see it on the news. It's happening everywhere. I was like, no, it's happening on the news. Like, and I'm not saying that
I definitely think black people are probably racist towards a lot of Asian people. I wouldn't even say that. I would definitely say that.
I think it happens in a sense where racism, people of different cultures who don't understand each other's culture are going to clash. Yeah, I believe that happens with everybody. But what I'm saying is in situations where like you grow up around somebody, you have a neighbor, I don't think the majority of people are ganging up on Asians and being like this motherfucker is different. Like, even when I was in school, like the same thing we talk about as far as kids wearing fingernail polish. I remember the Asian kids in my school, and they were just like, they lived in the same neighborhoods. They hung out, did the same shit we did. Even the Asian people I work with now, same shit. Like, and I'm not saying that this is me mending the ties between Asian and black communities. Yeah, there is still racism.
Sean.
Yeah, you know. I gotta stand, bro. What's the name of that movie In Bruges where they talk about it's Colin Farrell and the guy from Game of Thrones, and they're like, yo, I'm telling you, man, it's gonna be a race war. And Colin's like, yo, what side are the Chinese gonna be on? The blacks. He was like, I'm definitely fighting with the blacks, bro. Like, there's a million of them, bro. But anyway, I don't think that there is. I
don't think it's outright hate, but what I will say is, sometimes I think
it's regular hate. Good old fashioned American hate.
But a lot of the like subtle racism that I hear like niggas like be offended about, I say that I definitely heard black people do it to most other races all the time. It's like the black shit. People that I know that don't even know white people like that. If like there's one white person in the room, he's gonna be white boy. Automatically. Yeah. I'm not even saying that's an equal comparison to calling it hanging us and shit, obviously. But I'm saying it, it don't really have to be done.
It happens so often to people. Like I've had white people assume I'm gonna call them white boy. I just go with it.
Like because
they refer to themselves as the white boy or like
all of that shit is like I'm white boy. Like I'm white boy.
We know a white boy.
Yeah.
Shout out white boy.
And that's exactly the shit I'm talking. I mean, he branded himself. I mean, do your thing. You know what I'm saying? Whatever works for you. But me personally, if I was in a room full of all white people and they're like, they calling me black boy and shit, I'm gonna be a little offended. You know what I'm saying? Just putting the the hoof on the other goddamn.
No, Tar Baby's cool.
Yeah. I'm not owning that shit personally.
Let him in, chat. Yeah. He's with
us. This guy's crazy.
Chocolate John.
Yeah, don't call me none of that shit. Don't ever insert my blackness into my name. Like, all right, man, we get it, man. I'm black. We don't have to say it. You know what I'm saying? But that's just my take. I don't even know where we started from this shit. Oh, Asian hate.
Chinatown Market.
Yeah. So I see like a lot of people like, I've just seen black people make karate jokes around Asian people and shit like that. I'm like, man, you can do that. That's like the lowest hanging fruit, dog. Like, you don't really need to do that, bro. Like, is this the first Asian person you met? So I see that ignorance. I see that shit in like a lot of like slapstick comedy and shit. It's just like, they doing all these Asian impressions and shit. Like, I think it's probably toned down now, but the reason why I didn't like a lot of Def Comedy Jam shit, because I kind of grew up in a mixed environment, because I went to a mixed ass elementary school. So when I would see that shit, it's like, damn, man.
Yeah, all right.
Damn, yeah. It's kind of fucked up, bro. Like,
relax.
Yeah. Like, whoa. Yeah, they cool, bro. They invited me over their house and shit. Like, I don't really have the joke.
So we had to use chopsticks.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like, I had to take Japanese in elementary school. Like my first grade teacher was from Thailand and shit. So
all right.
you know.
You been there.
Yeah. I've been down.
Yeah. You jumped in. You a real triad, bro. Enjoy Luck Club.
I don't know if I ever talked about this on the podcast, but I was watching Rush Hour and they put a warning
Disclaimer?
Yeah, before they show that shit now, because there's so many like Asian stereotype jokes in there. Because Chris Rock's like, hey,
Jackie Chan built a career off of Asian stereotypes.
Yeah.
We can't watch Rumble in the Bronx no more.
Is that like that?
Shanghai Nights. That's just out the way.
Yeah.
Who Am I? Can't watch that. We probably watch Who Am I. That was in Africa, South Africa at that.
Yeah, I don't know any of those movies.
Oh, nah.
What's the one with DMX and Jet Li?
DMX is Romeo Must Die.
Romeo Must Die.
That had a lot of Asian, esque.
Yeah, I'm sure there's a lot of bad joints. DMX was in it. So
Shout Anthony Anderson. Anthony Anderson was in it. Dim Sum. Yeah, we gotta cancel.
Yeah, a lot of that shit was just okay. Like, you know what I'm saying? That's the kind of shit I'm talking about.
Remember they changed the gold line, the yellow line on Marta.
Oh, it's solidarity.
Oh, it was. You're right. I forgot it. That was a big uproar. Yeah, it was supposed to be the yellow line. Highway? Yeah.
Oh my god.
It was on the news and shit. I forgot about that. They changed it to gold. Yeah. Cause Dorville got all the Asians and shit. Crazy.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That racism, get in there, boy.
Get in there. Yeah. So I mean, I'm not saying, like I said, man. I just don't feel like it's, it's not the Olympics, man. But
to be honest with you,
when you compare black stories, it's just like, I mean, the yellow shit with the railroads and shit. But y'all got like money and shit. Y'all got reparations and shit. Didn't they just get reparations?
Yeah, for being in internment camps during World War II. This is on topic, but off topic.
Internment camp, like it's pretty much not even the same.
But I work at a place where I work at an Asian restaurant, and I will say, unequivocally, black customers are the most annoying ones. And it's not.
I work retail, and I don't know if I could call it, dog.
Yeah,
all people are pretty trash.
Okay, so listen, this is why I take exception, because everything in your store, for the most part, even though it's a store with an international, a variety of goods, a plethora of goods, all my stuff is Vietnamese, because black people aren't familiar with any other culture other than Chinese as far as food is concerned. They always come up and ask if we have Chinese dishes or ask for samples. Like, they never know how to match. Like, they never know how to say the names of the stuff that we get, but that's fine because there's a number and a letter next to it. But they're the most likely not to look at it and be like, yo,
just give me that.
Let's see too. Like, or even ask. Like, they'll just come up to you and start demanding. Don't ever say, and it's like I want to shoot us some bail, but I can't. Because I have to go up there and usually delegate. And they treat me completely differently than they do people who are of, you know what I mean? Like, the Asian people. Somebody told me today, like, yo, you on the grill today? I was like, yeah, why? Like, yeah, I don't be liking one of my food. Like, how do you even know, bro? Like, how do you even know, man? Like, it was so irritating. Like, the requests that black people have in restaurants in general are fucking ridiculous.
I can say one thing I hate about, like, look at us being anti-black. The one thing I hate about the black customers I have to deal with is that they walk up to me and try to be cool automatically. Like, man,
and that's what I mean.
You know how them white people is. I'm like, motherfucker,
I don't know you neither.
Who are you, nigga? Like, who's to say I fuck with you more? Well, you just some nigga. Like, why do you think we have this, like, automatic camaraderie and shit, my nigga? Like, I don't know, you niggas sold niggas out all day, man. We just seen the Black Messiah shit, man. I don't fuck with every nigga, dog. Like, me personally.
You're not gonna do me like that.
Yeah, I'm gonna keep my guard up, nigga. I can't pull every motherfucker off this plantation. But I had a similar situation. We were trying to close and do, like, had some shit in line. I'm just like, and like, it was like some white people, like, at the door trying to get in. But they had no mask. Like, we would probably be open like 2 minutes, and they arguing about, like, not putting on the mask. I'm like, man, we open 2 more minutes. And it's like, I kind of mutter that shit to myself. He's like, yeah, man. I'm like, man, you see this shit? He's just like, yeah, man. I don't get it. And then, like, some shit rung up wrong. He's like, man, you think you can check that price or some shit? I'm just like, man.
You just as bad.
I'm like, man, I just told you about to close in 2 minutes. And I just end up just letting them have it for free. I'm like, you just had this shit, bro. I don't give a fuck, nigga. What the fuck we talking about? I'm just like, man, you see, yeah, you're one of them, nigga. As soon as you see an opening, nigga, you just become one of them too. So it's like,
I'm not the type to really try to go back and forth with you. Like sometimes,
I'm never doing that.
When you wrong, you just wrong, man. You got to rock with that. And
I don't even do stand on, because it's in my situation, it's not my money, so it's like, man, I don't give a fuck, man. Take it.
Right. But yeah, man. I don't know where we were going with that.
Yeah. It's a long tangent. Shout out to Chinatown Market, whatever they changed it to, the market or some shit. I'm assuming.
Yeah, I mean it's not gonna. Shout out to all y'all niggas who got Chinatown Market in the tuck, man. Keep that shit in good condition.
And on that note, we'll be right back. Yeah, all right. We're back. I guess we're rounding this bitch out. You know how we always do, man. We always talk about what we've been watching and listening to.
Yep.
For me this week, I watched the Cam Drink Champs. I always love a good Cameron interview. This nigga's he's got the charisma, man. He's got the stuff.
He's got chutzpah.
Yeah. But it was the same old stories. That's one thing about like certain artists like that is really nothing more to talk about. We can rehash the Jay-Z beefs and the Nas beefs and
the Lawrence Fishburne story was new.
Yeah, Lawrence Fishburne story was funny and new. But yeah, it still was interesting. I still it was good to see Zeke. Zeke looked good. Seemed like they all together. It's always cool with groups like that because they have had their little ups and downs, but it seemed like they all on decent terms at this point in their life. So they all ain't nobody too strung out. Everybody seemed like they get into some type of bag. Even Joel's on Love and Hip Hop. That's what you gotta do. I mean, better that than be G Dep. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I'd rather that than G Dep. So
Bad Boy roster ain't doing a whole lot.
Yeah, it's a lot of them niggas. I even rather that than Mace. The Mace stories was funny too. Like their dynamic is an odd dynamic. I really still don't understand it. But that's a whole nother conversation. I also watched the Lennox Lewis documentary. Watch it or don't watch it, man. I mean, I'm not a big boxing fan, so maybe that had something to do with it. And maybe the fact that I had to watch it on Crackle. There's like commercials in it and shit. Yeah, it was filthy. So I had to go to the slums to watch it and shit. Like,
stick went to the dollar theater. Floors are sticky.
But it was fine. I mean, if you're in the boxing and shit in this story. I mean, it wasn't bad. It's just, it didn't grab me. I watched Coded Bias today though. It was really dope. It was about basically how AI and all of the algorithms are racist because people are racist. Like the people that program are racist, so they insert those same vulnerabilities in the fucking system. So they did they highlighted how Amazon try to use AI to do their hiring and they would just reject all women. So it's not just racist, it was sexist too. And it's definitely worth the watch. It was done by a black girl that works in the tech field, which I thought was interesting. She's also a poet. And I'll leave my comments to myself. But, yeah, man. I wish she wouldn't have did that slam poetry shit. I guess I'm not leaving my comments to myself, man. But yeah, man, keep that shit, man. Keep that shit, B.
Yeah.
I'm fucking with your documentary and shit, but I didn't need you to insert your poetry, man. It's like, I rise and all this shit. Like, shut up, man. All right, but anyway.
You ever seen Slam with Saul Williams?
No.
You'd hate it.
That's just me though, man. I'm not even saying the poetry was bad. I just didn't need it. Like, man, just give me the information, man. I'm not here for this shit. But yeah, that was it. Also, listen to Big Boss Bunny Rabbit or whatever the fuck their name is. That Big Boss Rabbit. What is it?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's a rabbit in there.
It's called bullshit.
Is it?
There's a rabbit in there.
Nah.
That's a
Big
rabbit.
Boss Rabbit. Yeah. Shout out Freddie Gibbs, man. He just dropped Big Boss Rabbit. It was fun. Legends of the Fall, as I said before, been on repeat. Cam made me listen to the Been Around the Rail remix 1,000 times. Forgot how dope that shit was. Shout out to Mace.
The one with
Singing. Somebody singing.
Carl
been
Thomas.
around,
No,
Yeah,
it was Carl. No, it was Carl Thomas.
Thank you. My bad. Yeah.
Carl Thomas, Brian McKnight.
Yeah, I feel like it was Brian McKnight
It
though.
wasn't, bro. It was Carl Thomas.
Yeah,
Different curl.
I don't even want to say it and shit. Either way, man, that's all I got.
I didn't really watch shit, man. I realized the shit that I did watch, I don't really want to talk about because y'all were flaming it before the pod. I was watching Snowfall recently. I went through everything. Niggerish. Everything but Power. No, I didn't. I bet. Come on, man. I watched Wire supercuts randomly. I watched the supercut of Senator Davis just saying shit.
That scene?
That's hilarious, bro. It's like 7 minutes of him just going she in different suits. There's an Omar supercut. I think they got a season 3 supercut too. All this shit is on YouTube randomly. I think it's done through HBO and The Wire too, which is kind of cool. I watched the Vice piece on John Rocker. And
oh yeah, I watched that.
Yeah, where he was signing autographs at the Hall of Fame, and everybody was talking about like what they know about John Rocker, and they talked about the correlation between him and
The character
Kenny Powers from Eastbound and Down.
Yeah.
Like he's technically that's their inspiration, and it's funny because it was a scene in the first episode where he's like, yeah, fuck Atlanta, too many gays or some shit like that. And he gives the crowd the finger and then walks off. And I'm like, oh, this is John Rocker, bro. Like, oh, yeah. And I saw the sunglasses on top of his hat. I was like, yep. They got him. And Will Ferrell was one of the producers. And I remember Will Ferrell talking to John Rocker about, like, yeah, like I kind of, this character. and Will Ferrell did that baseball movie, too. I think that's when he ran into him, too. Like when he was like, he kind of just shadowed him for a while and ended up secretly building a character off of his persona. So it was kind of cool. What else did I watch? Been watching a lot of Kill Tony. If y'all don't watch Kill Tony, it's definitely a podcast I would get interested into or get into. Especially if you don't like comedy or podcast, it's a good introduction to both because it's neither. What have I been listening to? The new Freddie Gibbs the new Freddie Gibbs release, Big Boss Bunny Rabbit. Still listening to Salt 7. We Live in America. Miracles. I don't think that's Salt 7. I think that's on Rise. Black is. But yeah, Miracles. That's pretty much it, man. I really haven't been listening to a whole lot of anything. Legends of the Fall. That's pretty much been it. I've been more so listening to beats, man. So I'm gonna shout out producers like Hey So Famous, Beat Medic. Shout out Stealth. Stealth been on the tier recently. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, a lot of music on the way. So stay tuned for that.
Yep.
I guess we are washed, never washed up.
Shout out to Decatur Trav, man. I meant to shout you out on the last pod. Got some new seasonings. We used the Beef It Up this weekend. Fuck around and got a porterhouse randomly Saturday. Porterhouse and a bone-in ribeye. Yeah, but yeah, shout out to Decatur Trav. Decatur's own seasoning, man. And we out.
Yep.